141 members of parliament have been suspended so far for the remainder of the winter session. This number is the highest in the history of independent India since parliament began functioning more than 75 years ago. The opposition MPs staged a protest outside parliament. The ruckus continued inside both houses. In fact, one of the contentions by the Treasury benches, by the government, is that the opposition was making a mockery of the democratic process. They were making a mockery of the custodians of the House. One of them, Mr. Banerjee, Kalyan Banerjee from the TMC, was seen mocking the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, the Vice President, Jagdeep Dhankar. The BJP has gone to town saying that this is not just insulting the second most powerful constitutional office in the land, but also something that would be unacceptable to a majority of Jats, which is the denomination that Mr. Dhankar hails from. So then the question is, who is making a mockery of Parliament? But first, the story so far.
देश के इतिहास में पहली बार है कि आज कितने लोगों को उन्होंने सस्पेंड किया। ये डेमोक्रेसी के लिए अच्छा नहीं है, ये डराने की बात हो गई है।
पुलिस किसके हाथ में है? होम मिनिस्ट्री के नीचे है। तो क्या हो जाता अगर वो 5 मिनट आते और कहते जनाब ये हो गया है, हम इस पर कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं।
मैं तो यही कह सकता हूं, सद्बुद्धि आए, कुछ तो सीमा होती होगी।
ये जो ब्लॉक कर रहे हैं, जो अवरोध पैदा कर रहे हैं, ये उनकी हताशा है 3 प्रदेशों में हार के कारण।
All right, let me now give you a breakup of the suspended MPs. Remember, this has been happening for the better part of the last week or so. First up, in the Lok Sabha, this was on the 14th of December. There were 13 MPs who were suspended in the Lok Sabha, a majority of them from the Congress and other southern parties. Then 4 days later, on the 18th, there were 33 MPs who were suspended. And now today, the 19th of December, another 49 MPs have been suspended from the Rajya Sabha. So together, that is more than 80 MPs from the Lok Sabha alone. Then in the Rajya Sabha, on the 14th of December, one MP, who is Derek O'Brien, the floor leader of the Trinamool Congress, he was suspended. This was last week. And then this week, just a day ago, just 24 hours ago, on the 18th of December, there were 45 MPs who were suspended. So in total, there are 46 MPs of the Rajya Sabha who have been suspended. Now, in the Lok Sabha, as many as 71% of the India bloc MPs have been suspended. This is the strength of the House, as it were, in both houses. The NDA has 353, the opposition has 133, and the suspended ones are 95 out of 133, which means that 70% of the India bloc MPs or the opposition MPs have been suspended, 133 who have been suspended for the remainder of the session. Meanwhile, in the Rajya Sabha, out of the 95 opposition MPs, 46 of them have been suspended. That's almost half of the India MPs, half the strength of the opposition benches in the Rajya Sabha have been suspended for the remainder of the session. So 70% in the Lok Sabha and 48% in the Rajya Sabha. Now, as shocking as this suspension spree is, what is equally shocking today was TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee, who was seen mimicking the Rajya Sabha chairman Jagdeep Dhankar outside the House as he was protesting along with the suspended MPs. In that same clip, which has gone viral, you can see Congress leader Rahul Gandhi taking a video of Kalyan Banerjee doing this whole mock act. Take a look at this video because this has gone viral and now the BJP is taking grave offense to this. There are all kinds of counter accusations against Kalyan Banerjee saying he's mimicking a person who holds the second highest constitutional office in this country, to mimicking a person who apparently has a disability, to mimicking a person whose caste will not take this lightly. Let's see that whole clip, that whole sequence of events, and then I'll go across to our debate.
Mr. Rai, you are a lawyer. I'm a son. You are a lawyer. I'm a son. You see, Mr. Nariman is not a good lawyer. How many cases do you know? I've done it Supreme Court. I've done it. I've get. You must understand. My spine is so straight. You, Mr. Gandhi, you must understand. Lok Sabha. You must understand that I have been appointed here only to say Narendra Modi. Understand it. My spine is, you see, my spine is very straight. I'm so tall.
So Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, who also is the Rajya Sabha chairperson, has slammed the Congress and the wider opposition for this kind of behavior by the Trinamool MP. He has said, and I quote, "This response is against the institution of the Vice President, the institution of the chairman of the Rajya Sabha." And with this, he says, we have seen the lowest level. Senior Congress leader has been videographing an MP mocking the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The chairman has been ravaged, and that too by a political party. The Congress has put out a video on Instagram. It, of course, subsequently withdrew that video because it was offensive to what the chair claims. He also mentioned how a Congress spokesperson also tweeted that particular video out. This is what the chairman has claimed, and I quote, "I was insulted as a farmer and a Jat, and my position as the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, as the Vice President of India, has been insulted." Now, the BJP, as you would expect, has gone all guns blazing against the opposition MPs. Take a look at this tweet from Kanchan Gupta, who is a senior advisor to the INB Ministry of the Government of India, and that's part of our Motorola 5G smartphones tweet of the day.
Hello, Moto.
This is what Mr. Gupta has written on the social media platform X, and I quote, "This is incredibly shocking. TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee rudely mimics Rajya Sabha Chairman and Vice President of India Jagdeep Dhankar. An individual is not being insulted. The institution of Parliament is being demeaned by Kalyan Banerjee and by Rahul Gandhi. Abhradata, Ashlinata, Asabhyata, the three A's that now define the TMC, led by Mamata Banerjee." Now, this is what the government's view seems to be, the Treasury bench's view seems to be. But the bigger picture is that as things stand today, 141 opposition MPs have been suspended. That is the largest number of opposition MPs to be suspended in the history of the Lok Sabha, the history of the Rajya Sabha, the history of parliamentary democracy as we know it since independence. So that brings us to our big debate topic tonight.
Hello, Moto.
All right, so let me go across to our guests who are joining us. Ajay Alok is the national spokesperson of the BJP. Jebi Mathur is the suspended Rajya Sabha member of the Congress Party. Ashutosh Verma, Samajwadi Party spokesperson. Amitabh Tiwari, political analyst, joining us. Ajay Alok, the accusation against you by the opposition is democracy to bacha hi nahi hai. 141, you might as well sack the entire opposition and say that only treasury benches will be there in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. This is a joke of a democracy. This is a mockery of democracy. Nowhere in the history of India have 141 MPs ever been suspended in one session of Parliament.
Yeah, Zaka, if you see, the opposition has been claiming that there is no democracy left in this country since 2014. Do you actually believe so? Because after 2014, we must have had around 55 state elections and 14 election and 19 election, and still the democracy, there is no democracy. When they win, there is a democracy. When they don't win, it's a autocracy. And we have seen what is autocracy in 1975 to 1977. What the autocracy means. When it is run by a family, it's a democracy. And when it is being run by the people, it becomes autocracy. Such a bunch of hypocrites sitting in the parliament, they don't know how to respect. They have taken the oath. They come under oath when they enter parliament, that I'll uphold all the sanctities of the parliament. I'll respect the traditions of the parliament. This is the respecting of tradition. By being an MP, you are allowed just to dance on the table, just to get out of your chair, just to throw papers at the chair, come out in the well with the placards and all. When it was agreed that in the new parliament there won't be any placards, and after repeated requests from the chairman and the speaker, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they failed to listen. So what was the option left? Do you want the parliament to be run like a fish market? Because the Rajya Sabha TV and the Lok Sabha TV, this is being telecasted in 140 countries of this world. Just imagine what happened, what image the Sri Lanka speaker must have taken of our parliament. And that to be led by a party who has ruled this country for 60 years. They don't know the tradition and the ethos of the parliament. And then they say this is a murder of democracy. If the opposition MPs are suspended, whatever may the number be, here only is a suspension. What Indira Gandhi did in 1975 to 77. All the opposition MPs were in jail. Here what we are asking, what the speaker and the chair is asking, please behave yourself, please mend your ways, please have discussion. And on what issue they were shouting? The issue which was explained properly both by the speaker and the chairman in the both houses on attack on parliament on 13th, on which these Lok Sabha speakers and these Rajya Sabha speakers were saying that the attack was not because of unemployment, attack was because of rise in prices. They had sympathy towards these attackers. And today they are demanding answers from a Home Minister. When it's a purview of the speaker, they know it very nicely that the parliament runs according to the law, not according to the whims of the family. And please don't try and change the narrative. What we have done today by insulting the vice president, they're the second largest constitutional chair in this country. What you have done today, it's not taken lightly.
Okay. So let me ask Javi Mathur of the Congress Party this. I mean, you have an opposition MP mocking the second highest constitutional office in this land. Whatever differences you have with the vice president, whatever differences you have with the chair, and you belong to that house, the Rajya Sabha, you cannot be seen as mocking such an individual in public high office outside the halls of parliament just because a bunch of opposition MPs have been suspended. Like I said, the fact of the matter is that you have asked for the Home Minister's statement. It's a purview of the matter of the Lok Sabha Secretariat and that of the Speaker. You have said that no discussion no further movement without the Prime Minister coming and a discussion happening. There's an ongoing investigation that has been ordered. Wait for the results of that ongoing investigation. And the most important thing, that at the end of the day, you're not interested in discussing or passing these important bills, which is the basic functioning of Parliament. What you're interested in is holding placards, hurling slogans, hurling abuses at the chair, coming to the well of the House, which is all explicitly prohibited. And despite repeated appeals from both the Speaker in the Lok Sabha and the Vice President in the Rajya Sabha, opposition MPs are continuing to do that. And that's why they were left with no resort but to suspend you.
BJP is creating history for all the wrong reasons. See, fact remains that our parliament in the Lok Sabha, the infiltrators creeped in and they jumped from the public gallery and sprayed. What if it was a poisonous gas? The fact remains that a BJP MP, it was through his pass that they entered. The fact remains that we, India Alliance as an opposition, asked a fair statement from the Home Minister in the presence of Prime Minister about what happened. And the fact remains that till date, not a single word from the Home Minister or the Prime Minister on such a grave breach of security. Nobody is saying that it is not a breach of security. There is no doubt about it in anyone's mind that it is a breach of security. When that happened, what stops the Prime Minister and the Home Minister to come to the floor of the houses and make a statement? That's all we were demanding. And what BJP wants, see, for something that has happened inside the parliament, that too the most secured place, they do not even feel that they have the sense of accountability, that they don't feel that they have to even give an answer, make a statement, take the MPs, take the Rajya Sabha and houses into confidence. They don't do that. They just don't even do that. They don't give an answer. They try to normalize everything. And then the fact remains that 141 MPs of different parties other than BJP are suspended. And in the India's history, have we ever seen something like this? This is not a black chapter of democracy. This is a big book, a dark book of democracy in India now, and democracy is choking.
Quick response.
It is breathing its last, and it is in ICU.
Of how
it
democracy is in the ICU,
but we will not allow them to be
141 MPs have been suspended. It's not happened even in emergency.
Zaka, please ask Congress spokesperson, and she's a Rajya Sabha MP also. I have full regards for her. That why are her views different from her leader Rahul Gandhi? Because we may not have heard the statement from Home Minister or Prime Minister, but the whole country has heard statement of Mr. Rahul Gandhi that those yes, it was a security lapse. There's no doubt about it. But the main reason behind it is unemployment and poverty. He was showing sympathy, and you are calling them infiltrators. Jairam Ramesh is calling them, it's a grave misunderstanding. They are disillusioned youth. I mean, please clarify. Where is Congress standing on this?
Okay.
Was it a terrorist activity, or it was because of unemployment and price rise? Please clarify. You are a Rajya Sabha MP. It's a very important statement what you make right now.
Okay.
Was this a terrorist attempt, or was that because of unemployment and price rise? Please clarify.
Let me also open this up to Ashutosh Verma of the Samajwadi Party. Amitabh Tiwari, political analyst, is also joining us. Ashutosh Verma, the basic point is these rules were always in existence. Rule 374 of the Lok Sabha, 255 of the Rajya Sabha were always in existence, that members are not allowed to come to the well of the House, show placards, come to the well of the House, sloganeer, hurl abuses at the chair. These rules always existed. But then in the past, no one really enforced these rules. Today, the BJP-run NDA government is saying rules are rules, irrespective of which party violates it. If you come to the well of the House and wave placards and abuse the chair, then you will be suspended. They are basically drawing a Lakshman Rekha. New parliament, rules will be enforced. There will be no more benign overlooking of these rules. The rules will be enforced per force.
No, Jacob, I think it's a very well planned mechanism played by Bharatiya Janata Party, and they are planning to suspend more MPs in next future. I think it will not end with 141, it will go on also, because they don't want someone to be coming in front of their decisions. And this is the finest example of the irony in India, that a person, a MP who has given pass to that suspected, they has not been asked a single question to that MP, and the MPs who asked question about all these, they has been suspended from last 3 days. This is the irony of democracy, what Bharatiya Janata Party is giving. And suspending a parliament is a basically idea given by late Arun Jaitley ji and Sushma Swaraj ji, that to protest in the parliament is a part of a democracy. When these ideas has been given by the Bharatiya Janata Party senior leader, then it was okay. When now they are in power, then it is not okay. And what he is showing about the sanctity and insulting the VP, I know you can't do like this. But what is Didi, oh Didi? In 2021, among 28 states and 8 union territories of India, she was the only chief minister in the constitutional place. And the Prime Minister of India was making the mockery of that woman, Didi or Didi, who uses the word of 50 crore girlfriend. This is the Prime Minister of India. So I think he has made the trend of using all these things and making mockery of other parliamentarian and politicians.
No, but Mr.
So
Verma,
now-
are you
now-
saying what Kalyan Banerjee TMC MP did, this mimicking, this mockery of the Vice President, is okay?
So do you think doing mimicry is a crime? Can you say
Sir,
that doing a mimicry is a crime?
This is the second highest
Okay.
constitutional office
So
of
you
this
can-
country.
So please declare the mimicking anybody in the India is a crime. Please declare. Please declare in Senate 18 right now.
No, you can.
Then it is a crime?
No. One second.
Then it is a crime. I
No.
agree.
One second. Is Mr. Kalyan Banerjee a stand-up comic? Because if he's a stand-up comic, yes, he should go ahead and mimic whoever he wants to. No doubt, no
Okay.
problem about it.
So you-
but to
so
stand
do
on
you
the footsteps of
think
Parliament
anybody-
and mimic the presiding officer, sir, I mean, it's not called for.
No,
It's
no.
completely unacceptable.
Now, why it is unacceptable? Just tell me one reason. Doing a mimicry in India by any
Oh,
person,
why this is
by
unacceptable?
by
Because
Great,
you are
great,
abusing the
It is a
chair.
crime.
What a comment.
You're
I don't
abusing
know,
the
no.
institution.
So what was Didi or Didi?
That's
Have
their
you
habit.
ever got
Sir,
a debate?
No, one second.
No.
Again, I'm not
That was
defending
the Prime
Didi
Minister
or
of
Didi.
India.
No, one second.
That was the Prime
One
Minister
second.
of
One
India.
second.
He
Ashutosh
was
Verma,
about
1 second.
pride.
Please. Let's be very, very clear. The distinction between the two, I'm not for a moment condoning Didi or 50 crore ki girlfriend, but these are things that were said on the campaign trail where in the heat of elections. And political parties always say that, right? Your leaders have also said that. But here is an elected member of parliament on the footsteps of parliament mimicking the chair, the presiding officer of the house. Come
Can you
on,
tell
the two
me-
cannot be the
can you
same.
tell- Okay, can you tell a single IPC or single misconduct rule that no MP can mimic anybody? Can you tell me a single rule in the rule book of parliament or
Sir,
Sir, give me that,
denigrating
huh?
the institution of parliament,
No, we are not-
denigrating
he's
the
not denigrating.
institution of the
No, no,
presiding
you are-
officer.
No, you are exaggerating a thing which has not
I'm
been
exaggerating.
happening. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely you are exaggerating.
Okay,
You
Amitabh
haven't
Tiwari,
got a debate.
fair
Have
enough.
you ever
Maybe-
asked the Prime Minister of India?
Fair
you
enough.
insulted the woman Chief Minister Didi O Didi.
Okay, no.
Have you ever have
When
a-
that
have a
comment
heart
was
to
made,
tell
like I
us?
said, Mr. Verma, please appreciate, I said a moment ago that no one is condoning that. It is equally condemnable. Nobody should be mimicking the only woman chief minister of the country. But Amitabh Tiwari, let me please ask you. The point is, most people, particularly middle class people, are looking at these proceedings over the last week or so, all these opposition MPs being suspended, and saying that, they brought it upon themselves, that they got what they sowed, that they were behaving in an abominable manner, they were coming to the well of the house, raising placards, issuing all kinds of messages against the presiding officers, whether it's the speaker, whether it's the vice president, and therefore the house and the leaders who run the house wanted to enforce those rules, perhaps because they wanted to set an example. But at the same time, it is also a fact that at the end of the day, it is a democracy. When you have 141 and all belonging to opposition, not a single BJP MP has been suspended. All of them, 141 MPs of the opposition have been suspended. Then why are we going through the charade of parliament? Let's forget about it. Let's just have treasury benches, pass the bills that you need to pass and get on with it. Amitabh Tiwari.
Yeah, see, the decision may be right as per rules, but may not be right in spirit. Because what has happened over the last 9 to 10 years is that both the ruling party and the opposition have hardened their stance. And the channels of communication between the ruling party and the opposition in parliament have broken down. Earlier, senior parliamentarians from both sides used to communicate with each other and try to solve or resolve these issues. But now both of them have hardened their stance. The opposition wants the Home Minister or the Prime Minister to make a statement, whereas the ruling party is saying that the Speaker has already made a statement and the inquiry is on. As you said, when the middle class watches this, or when the youth of the nation is watching this and who have not watched proceedings of earlier years, might see that the parliament is a joke. I mean, what is happening in the parliament? It sends a wrong message also to the youth that this is what is happening in the parliament. See, both sides need to sit and reach to a conclusion, because a lot of money of the middle class people and taxpayers like you and me is being pumped to run the parliament, and it is required to make rules. So one thing is very important is that in terms of narrative, I think the BJP needs to be cautious of the fact that the opposition will try to peddle the narrative that they are doing this to pass bills. But BJP can pass bills anyways without these MPs being out of parliament or being in suspension. So that is something which the BJP needs to be cautious of. See, it is fairly wrong for the TMC MP to have done a mimicry of the vice president because he's a vice president first and then an ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Correct?
No, Mr. Verma was asking, is it a crime to mimic anyone? Please tell him why. It may not be a crime, but it's certainly in bad taste.
It's not about crime, and people look up to parliamentarians like all of them were sitting here. Correct. So this sends a wrong message, wrong example. However, at the same time, I am not saying that what the suspensions have been as also right. They might be right as per rule, but not in spirit. It's not fair to suspend 141 MPs. It also is a bad reflection on the speakers of both the houses that they have not been able to conduct the parliament in a way that the earlier speakers were able to.
Okay, so Ajay Alok, when the BJP won the recent state elections, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, many said, you're at the peak of your powers electorally across the country. And within a few days, all of this were to happen. And the opposition is naturally saying, democracy is under threat. 141 MPs have never been suspended in the history of parliament. There is a phrase called political magnanimity. Surely the BJP, the ruling party, the NDA could have shown more political magnanimity. After all, even you agree that what happened, the breach that happened, is a serious matter. It needs a discussion. It needs a firm statement. But, in the time when you are at the peak of your political powers, after having won these, huge mandates in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, to suspend 141 MPs just shows that, you're intolerant of any kind of dissent or criticism. That's the argument from the opposition. Ajay Alok.
Well, Zaka, let me tell you that people used to say that we are in peak of our power. In 2017 also, when we won UP.
Yeah.
People used to say 2018 that we are just going downslide when we lost all the three states of Chhattisgarh, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. 2019 again we were in the peak of the power. 2020 again when we won state election we were at the peak of power. What is peak of power? We don't understand what is peak of power. This is simple a matter of parliamentary ethos and ethics, which I don't know how people analyze and how people take it. It's a matter of perception. When we talk of youth of this country, the youth of country who's watching television, they are seeing that House Speaker is pleading with the opposition MPs and what opposition MPs are doing. Then you get perception. Politics is nothing but perception. I just fail to understand today how Ashutosh, who's a learned doctor, he is speaking in favor of what's wrong in mimicry. Yes, my dear friend, there is no wrong in mimicry, but you can't mimic president and vice president. You say why Prime Minister says Didi oh Didi. What's wrong in Didi oh Didi? And that too in a political rally. He never abused her. He just used to say Didi, oh Didi. And you took offensive in that. On a political rally, but inside the house and inside the house premises, you can mock the vice president and president or anyone, and that's right. What kind of a strange logic is this?
Okay,
it's just a matter of perception. And please, Jaka, before you end, please ask Congress spokesperson: is she right that they were infiltrators, or Rahul Gandhi was right?
Okay, Jayakumar, respond to that. Rahul Gandhi over the weekend came out and explicitly said, oh, these were unemployed youth and that's why they attacked. You are saying that this was a security breach, these were infiltrators. I mean, what is the Congress party's position tonight on that issue?
See, there are certain facts which is very true. In the country, there is issue of unemployment, there is issue of price rise. All that is very, very true and as white as clear as a white paper. What I am saying, what I want to again make it clear is the sheer arrogance of BJP rule dispensation, the present dispensation has brought the parliament.
You are right or BJP is right, or Rahul Gandhi is right.
Sheer arrogance, the sheer arrogance. And see this, what exactly happened in the parliament It is for the Home Minister to come and say in the Parliament, which they do not do. Why they do not do? Because of the sheer arrogance. And now the different interpretations, why it happened, how it happened, so many things are definitely there.
The
but
breach,
the fact remains that the one who is supposed to answer is not coming in to the floor and answering.
Please hear me out. The breach is a serious issue. Nobody is denying that the breach is a serious issue. But the arrogance of the government led to the breach. How are you making that conclusion? It's not the arrogance of the government that led to the breach.
Not arrogance of the government. The arrogance of the government brought the Parliament to a standstill, because if the Home Minister would have come and made a statement, this Parliament, it would not have come to this place. And it is again the arrogance of the government that 141 MPs stand suspended. They do not want to show any sense of accountability. Instead, they want to suspend. This is traits of
but the problem, Javi Mathur, and the BJP has been saying this for a number of sessions
they want
now.
To pass
Please hear me
without
out.
any voice from the opposition.
Last session,
they
you
want
said,
to pass criminal bills without hearing the opposition.
No, ma'am, please. Last session, you said Manipur is the most burning issue. There has to be a discussion on Manipur. The PM has to come and the PM has to make a statement and so on. When the government said, okay, we are ready for a discussion on Manipur, you said, no, we don't want discussion. We don't want a short duration discussion. We want an unlimited time duration for the discussion. Then you said, okay, PM has to come. And then when you realize that the PM is not coming, you move a no confidence motion when it is very clear. I mean, any basic student of political science will tell you that a party that is sitting with 303 seats, I mean, there is no locus standi to move a no confidence motion against that party or that coalition that's ruling. Their majority was not under threat. The only reason you moved the no confidence, hear me out once again, 10 seconds, please, 10 seconds. The only reason you moved the no confidence was not because of lack of confidence in the government or the lack of majority of the government, but only because you wanted to force the Prime Minister to speak. And when the Prime Minister spoke about Manipur, including a whole bunch of other things that he spoke, but including Manipur, where was the opposition? They walked out. So clearly, every time you make a demand, and I'm not saying that the government is readily acceding to your demand or agreeing to your demand, but by the time the government comes around to your demand, you make a new demand. You're moving the goalpost. That's the problem too.
In the monsoon session, we had to try every weapon in the bag for the Prime Minister to come and answer or speak about Manipur conflict, about Manipur crisis. And finally, after everything, it was no confidence motion, and that was it was only when no confidence motion was moved, Prime Minister came. But country still remembers the speech of Prime Minister. He went on and on about everything else for hours together, and then it was at that moment the opposition had to walk out, because it was again a mockery of
Ms. Mathur, you'll also remember that
crisis,
right after the
Prime Minister was not giving priority to Manipur or to what is happening in Manipur, about the ladies being striped, ladies being stripped, and how they had to walk, and how it was the video went viral, how the whole country
the victims and the survivors of the video that you're referring to. But anyway, let me go back to Ashutosh Verma. Ashutosh Verma, I think there's also a cynical view, and I'm not a subscriber to this view, but it's certainly a plausible one, but a cynical one, that look, anyway, this session is getting over by the end of this week. This government is going to go into re-election in a matter of a few months from now. The budget session is going to be a vote on account. It's a curtailed session. Nothing much is going to happen in that budget session. So why bother? You know, the government is going to say what it's going to say. The opposition is going to say what it's going to say. The people of India should just resign to the fact that, you know, there will be all of this drama, rushing into the well of the house, placards, as a consequence, a suspension. It's anyway, you know, at the fag end of the 17th Lok Sabha. We'll again reconvene at the 18th Lok Sabha and see what the will of the people of India is.
So, Jacob, that's the difference between the Bharatiya Janata Party and our India Alliance. We don't have an election mode in every 24/7. We want to give a clear-cut message. And you are asking about the Prime Minister, and you are defending the move by Prime Minister after 79 days when the violence broke in Manipur. Is it okay? Is it okay when your house got burned, everybody got burned out in Manipur after 79 days? If we asked our Prime Minister to please spoke on 2 words, and we forced him to come on the parliament. Then he came after 79 days. Number one. Number two, he was talking about what we have done. So, Prime Minister got a time to give an interview in the private newspaper and take about 2 or 3 hours. Home Minister was sitting in the 5-star hotel and given interview on the private news channel. But they don't have enough time to come in the parliament and to talk to our fellow parliamentarian. Okay, this is the security breach. We accept. This is the problem, and we will discuss.
Okay.
This is the irony of the problem of Bharatiya Janata Party.
Okay, Amitabh Tiwari, I'll give you the final word. I think that last point that Ashutosh Verma made, that both PM and HM have been giving interviews after the security breach happened on the 13th of December. While the House is in session, is it so much to ask that they make a statement in the House while they are freely making statements outside the House?
See, while the House is in session and since they have been making or giving interviews outside, and there is also a precedence that in the last terrorist attack on the Parliament, the Home Minister did make a statement. So I think the Home Minister can come and make a statement. It's not a big deal. He's not going to. He's just going to say that an inquiry has been instituted, and things might just come to a pass if that is going to solve the problem. But as you said earlier, that the opposition may go on changing the goalpost. So that's also a risk which the BJP believes, that when he comes and makes the statement, maybe again the opposition does a walkout or does not listen to what he perhaps is trying to say. So, but we all hope as citizens that there are some important bills like the telecom bill and the broadcasters bill, which have some very important provisions. And we hope that there will be a good debate in the parliament on these issues because there are some important provisions.
All right. Ajay, Alok, final word, 30 seconds. I'm going to wrap up after that. Yeah, please.
Today the whole ruckus for the opposition was because CRPC and IPC bills were being replaced by the new laws, number one. Number two, the attack on the parliament in 2001 is a completely different scenario to what the attack happened in 2023. They cannot be compared. And also in 2001, Home Minister gave the statement after 10 days when it was established that Kasab is a terrorist funded by Pakistan and hold the security agency modus operandi, and every report was concluded. And most of the foreign countries gave the remittance that yes, attack was conducted by Pakistan. Today the investigation is not yet there with the Speaker and with the Home Ministry Committee. How can the Home Minister give reply? I mean, you have to go by the rules, right? If 2001, HM gave the statement, that was after the report was being submitted in the Parliament, not then and there. You cannot have a knee-jerk reaction when the Parliament security is concerned. That's very important.
We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to all our guests.
By today's debate, to your viewers.
I'm completely out of time, but thank you very much. We'll see if anything happens at all in the next couple of days, the remainder of this winter session of Parliament. But we'll leave it at that.